Well, hello everybody. How you doing? Dave Fennoy here, and it is another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything, and I am Dave Fennoy. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Let me just warn you now. I have a guest. He is a dear friend of mine. I love him madly, but
Never know.
he he is filled with information and good advice. He's one of the best in the business at what he does, um, but I'm not sure he's altogether well.
That is the
So,
best.
ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the one and only your booth director, producer of animation demos, uh, and coach to people trying to get in animation as well as commercials. The one, the only.
And there's only one.
Oh, there's only one. I'm just bringing you on. Oliver, Everett, Oliver.
Oh, I don't think they're ready.
We're
And it,
just getting started and it's already too much fun.
exactly. And it's July 1, so don't we everybody know.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
What's the new month? That must be it. So,
Mhm.
how are you?
I'm good.
And
I'm good. I am busy. Um, Everything's going well, I must say. But I cannot complain. I really can't complain. I can only tell you if they were going to close the state of California that I was heading to the grocery store
oh,
to
yeah.
get some food.
We'll get some, well, not to mention the toilet paper and paper towels
Oh, we're covered on that. That's
and
covered
the
too.
hand sanitizer.
That's covered too.
Oh,
But maybe,
boy. So,
well, let me
so let's let's get down to
start.
business here.
Let's see if we're gonna
We're,
get down to
we're,
business.
we're having too much fun. Um, I've known you for a long time, and I think well,
But I wasn't in diapers. Let's just say that.
no, no, that's not that long. I've known you a long time, and when I first met you, you were a booth director over at AVO. How'd you get in the business? How did you end up a booth director?
Well, it's funny. So probably about maybe in 2009, 2010, all of the animated shows that I worked on got canceled. The last show I was on was King of the Hill. And then I went ahead and I called my mentor, Charlie Adler.
Ah, oh,
I
crazy!
got on the
I'm
phone.
gonna have to get Charlie on too, but it couldn't be next week because I couldn't have two insane people on week
Yeah,
after week.
it's like my time. And I called him. I said, "Oh my God, Charlie, I don't know what I'm gonna do. All the shows is canceled. What do I do?" And he's like, "You need to first calm down, and you need to be a booth director." I need to be a booth of who? I need to do what? And he said, "You need to go work for a talent agency and be a booth director."
Hmm.
And so I said, "Okay." And I'm gonna just tell you how fate works. So there was an ad on a website. They were looking for some, I think it was, I don't even remember what the title of it was. And I don't even think it was AVO. And I filled it out. And I said, probably in my late 20s, I always wanted to work at a talent agency.
Hmm.
I filled out the form. I took a nap. The phone rings. It's Peter Arano from AVO Talent. So probably like maybe an hour after I filled out the form and then I took a nap, Peter calls me. And I'm like, oh my God, what? I couldn't remember. First of all, I hadn't seen Peter in years. It was Peter and Sandy Schnarr. So I hadn't seen him in years. I don't remember what I filled out. They just knew me from the casting part. So I go, they tell me the position, and I had a good feeling. I had a really good feeling. And on my way home, my car breaks down. So on my way home, my car breaks down. After the interview, And maybe probably about 2 or 3 hours later, they called me and told me about the job. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have a car. How am I going to figure this out? And everything just lined up. It just totally lined up. I had my friends from where I live at, they drove me into the office. So, but that's how the whole story really fell out. But Sandy and Peter knew me from my casting days.
Okay. Okay. Now let me ask
And
you. You have become one of the go-to people for animation when people are trying to put together a demo, trying to learn how to be um, the right person, make the right choices in animation. What did you learn as a booth director that helped you there?
I learned people's personalities. I learned their acting and I learned their personalities and what the actor brought to the table. I have some sort of like an insight as to how an actor operates. And once I figure out how you tick, I can better direct you and pull it
What's that
off.
you say? You figure out that the person has
How
ticks? Oh, I misunderstood. Once you figure out how someone ticks. Oh, yeah. I
how
got it now.
someone ticks. Not that they have ticks. But once I figure the little nuances of what they bring, I can go ahead and definitely, pull it out. So that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Um, your personality, your vocal quality. I've listened to over 500, auditions when I was at the agency. So it was just you're hearing the same old repetitiveness,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just that sudden maybe they had a little rasp, they had add a little rasp to the character, or maybe they were really really high pitched, but everything was really natural.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff that I'm looking for.
Okay.
That we were looking for, and we would submit and or we put on your demo.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. For just a minute, let me acknowledge some people here. Some that you may even know. Oh,
I just,
there's Uncle Roy. Of
oh,
course,
I'm sure I'm gonna get a phone call by
he,
the end of the night.
he's wait, let me get the other one there. Hello, men. There's Uncle Roy there, a few other people I am sure you know. Hey, Michael Glover, you guys are having too much fun. Yes, we are. And people are talking to each other. There's Roy talking to Randy Morrison, and let's see. Oh, there's one just for us. Brian Kelly, good evening, Dave and Everett. Love that, and just want to acknowledge a few folks here. Pamela, hey Dave and Everett, good to see you guys as always. Thanks for the good laughs, ticks, and info. Oh, someone who gets
A
your
joke.
horrible sense of humor. Yes, Dave and Everett. Yes, two amazing dudes at the same time. Lucky us. One, I want to encourage you to those who are joining us on this, whatever this is,
July 1.
to
July 1.
July
July
1. So July 1st, but I was talking about what the podcast is. Ask Dave Fennoy anything.
That's if you
To,
know anything.
to include Everett Oliver in those questions. Um, what's the biggest mistake that most actors have when they start knocking on the animation door?
They're not ready. They're totally not ready. Actors don't prepare themselves. I think they think in their heads that it's a very easy medium to get
Mm-hmm.
into, and it takes lots and lots of training,
Yeah.
and they have no idea. I get a lot of actors who say, besides the voice, oh, that they have been doing cartoon characters for years and entertaining their family. But I don't, right, exactly. But I don't think they know the competitiveness they
Yeah.
deal with. And I work on both sides of the country.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to all the auditions and teaching and training actors, and they're just not ready. So it's my job, or at least for me, to educate them and prepare them for what's going to happen because they have no idea. I think the notion is they think that they're going to get into the booth and see Dave Fennoy and then they're going to wind up freezing up because they're so fascinated by your performance and your pipes that they want to be just like you. And I'm like, you need to bring something unique yourself
No,
to the thing.
I just want to reiterate what you just said there. You need to bring something unique yourself. That thing, that essence of you
Right.
that people are going to relate to. Hold on, I want to, someone, Elaine Clark. Hi.
Hi, Elaine.
And Elaine, I would love to get you on here at some point.
You got to write it down.
Elaine Clark wrote one of the first books, one of the first voiceover books, and has been just an amazing teacher in the San Francisco Bay Area for more than 30 years. For more than 30 years.
Very
She
polite.
does not look her age.
Absolutely. I will agree. She moves really fast too.
Yeah, that she does. Uh, oh, wait, we got a complaint. We have our first complaint. I'm paying you two to be informative, not to laugh and have fun. Oh, wait, I'm not paying you. Carry on.
And who was that?
That's John Moody. He has came to his senses.
Oh, okay.
There.
Leave his number. I'll give him a call later.
Okay. And let's see. Walter Williams. Question from Australia. From Dan Ende. What are the key elements we should put into an animation demo? Now we're getting serious. What are the key elements we should put into a animation demo?
You need to have your villains. You need to have your superhero characters. Your natural quality. I would, since you're from Australia, I would have maybe one character that represents from where you are, but for the Los Angeles market, your demo needs to be funny. That's what the agents are looking for. They're looking to hear how funny you are. In the East Coast, they're looking for, besides range, the demos are slightly different over there. They're looking for the vocal quality, your range, um, all different types of characters. That's on that market. Hold on.
Oh yeah. Well, while you're taking a sip, no,
I know.
I'll get my sip later.
Try.
So okay, so you're saying that what the buyers are looking for on the East Coast different than the West Coast.
Very much so.
Uh, where do you think? Let me ask you about this. A lot of us who would call ourselves journeyman voiceover actors, this is what we do. If we end up on camera, that's the kind of thing that just kind of happened. But I know for myself, I end up on camera sometimes. But the work I chase, the career I have chased, has been voiceover.
Mhm.
Um, what what effect do you think celebrities in the animated movies is having?
That's a good question. I mean, features are a whole lot different. I mean, I haven't had, come from a background of that. I think the thing is they bring you know, their unique self to, the features. Um, and it's a little longer pace, obviously. It takes a little longer. So they have more time. We here, excuse me, we move kind of quickly. It's a little more.
Uh oh. Uh oh. Did I lose you? No, Everett. No, don't tell me. There you are. You're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you locked up there for a minute. Well, I know,
So,
I know for myself and a lot of other journeyman voice actors, we were a little disappointed that the feature films were featuring all stars in animation when so many
mhm.
of us have a background of animation. Uh, in hindsight, because I've gotten to work in a number of those feature films, smaller parts,
Features.
but perhaps those movies would not have gotten made if it weren't for the star
True.
power that they bring. Uh,
Because but at the end of the day, it's all about the buyers. It's all about the money.
yeah.
And so you have to remember too what's going to sell to that audience. So that's why they're using all those star powers,
Oh yeah.
those actors, because everyone knows them. For us, they don't really know who we are. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? We don't really show our faces unless we are on
Yeah.
camera.
They want names that they can
Hmm.
advertise it. Oh, that's my favorite star. I loved him in that movie. Let me go see him in this. Uh,
Right.
got a question here from Miss Frederick. Where can we go to start training?
That's interesting. You start training with somebody who you're going to feel comfortable with.
Let me ask you: would you take classes first, then private training, or does it matter for you?
I would tell actors to go ahead and first of all, start with taking an acting class and then go ahead and do your improv class. I got a lot of people who come to me in the beginning, and that's the first thing I tell them. Then
Okay,
they can come back and reach back to me.
okay. Now you mentioned improv. What's the
Hmm.
benefit of improv?
I want you to be able to think and quick and timely off your feet. It's all about your timing. It's all about because what you don't realize and you don't remember what you don't know is when you are in the booth for a job, a producer is going to be throwing things at you left and right, and they want to make sure that you are like on your game. For an example, I had a client back east who I taught, and he was going in for maybe one or two characters. At the end of the day, he did about six different roles. And he said, man, I wasn't even, when after I taught him, he was like, wow, I was able to just pull this character from left and right, you know? So that made me proud of, okay, this is what they're looking for, your comedic timing, you have to be able to take direction well, be, give them your all. Because if they feel that, like, for example, I had a client when I was at AVO who we booked the lead for an animated series. Now, what they did not tell me weeks later that the lead performer lost the role because they couldn't do another character. They couldn't do any incidentals. How if I had known that, I would have pulled the actor to the side in a very nice way, nice charming way. If you could read my
As you can
face.
be so charming.
Yes. So you have to be able to be versatile in this market, in this
Yeah.
day and age.
I'm going to confess one of my first animation, I don't even remember what show it was, but I was playing a regular character, main character, and I knew I was going to have to do one or two others, and they threw one at me that I just, everything
Froze.
no,
Yeah.
actually, I didn't freeze. They just didn't like anything I was coming
Oh
up with.
wow. Wow.
And I remember walking out of that studio feeling like, well, gosh, I'm just not good enough for this. Will I ever work again? And fortunately, yes, I worked again.
Hmm.
But how do you overcome that feeling, that panic, that you're trying as hard as you can, and the right thing isn't coming?
You just got to pick yourself up and keep moving.
Yeah,
You have to. What you need is a support team, and not a support team. I'm not saying your family
yeah,
and your friends, but you need people who are in the industry who know what you go through.
yeah,
And I think the thing is, especially living where we live on the West Coast, it's that Hope Group foundation of all voiceover actors that go, it's going to be okay. And even one of my clients, when she first booked her first video game, and we laugh to this day, and she literally lost the job. And I remember she came in the office and she was bawling and she was crying. And, she talked to the agent, and then her and I had a sidebar conversation. I was like, you know what? Toughen up. This is not going to be, your first, and it's not going to be your last,
yeah.
and now she books today. So,
Yeah, the,
you
the
know,
the truth of the matter is, whoever had the job before you, or
hmm
somebody had it before you,
for
and
you.
somebody's going to have it after you.
Yeah.
Uh, you're going to book something, and then they're going to change their minds. They're going to book somebody else,
Hmm.
and it's not because you're not talented. Somebody felt
Absolutely.
that you weren't right for the
Right
part,
for the role. Hmm.
and by the same token, you're going to take a job that somebody else just got canned from
Hmm.
for the same reasons. Not that they weren't necessarily a good actor, Somebody felt they weren't right for the part.
Hmm.
Got a good question here from Brian Kelly. Can you both comment on the differences between video game versus animation demos, and actually even video games versus animation?
Video games to me is much more dramatic. It's much more, it's a lot of physicality, and a vocal stress on there. So you should be bringing your game, really bringing your A game when you're doing a video game demo. I mean, you should be sweating when you finish that video game demo. I want to hear the highs. I want to hear the lows. I want to hear the kicks. I want to be, the animation. It's so natural, but it's high energy. It's different variations. It's not as dramatic.
Yeah.
You know. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was going to say, what I tell my students, there was a time that you could get away with an animation demo, video game demo that married the two together. The two are too different now. The people who are looking for video game actors don't want to hear your animation things. There'll be a little crossover, but not enough to
Right.
try to make it that one demo. And what I also say, video games lean towards drama. Oh, let me lean this way so I lean into the picture. Video games lean towards drama. Animation leans towards comedy. And it went all the way off there.
Right.
Animation leans towards comedy. And you are going for more laughs with animation. Not that there aren't laughs in video games, but it's different. It's more theatrical, more like feature film.
Yeah, you really are like climbing, the wild movements and
And when you're real tears, real caring, real drama that can be sustained, which you're generally not sustaining that much drama in animation.
Christian, right.
Let's see.
This is like an open book test. Open book tests are really hard, Dave.
Because you need more. Okay. It's been so long since I've been in school.
That's why I'm throwing it at you. I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, Jordan Barnett asks, what's your advice for those who can't afford training or classes? Oh, can't afford training or classes.
I would find some work, part-time work that you can do and save up. Depending on who the coach is, if you can develop a relationship with them, I would speak to them and see about whether or not you can do some sort of arrangement. That's what I would do. Not to say that they're all going to do that. Not all of them are going to do that. You have to establish a relationship with them so that way there's some sort of trust.
The only way I see that happening is if you're somebody who is so talented, so just needing of guidance, that they can see the potential and that kind of thing. But my actual answer is we typically find ways to get the things that are important to us. I understand a financial struggle. I've had it at times in my life when I was much younger, when I was first trying to get going. I didn't have a whole lot of extra money. And yet I found a way. One of the things I did is I took private lessons, but I shared it with a buddy of mine. So that cut the cost in half, and I also got the benefit of like being in a class. One of the things I love about classes that I recommend, why I recommend classes, is you can learn a lot from your fellow students' successes and failures, or let's call them challenges, successes and challenges, without your ego being on the line. It can be intimidating to step up to that microphone, when you've got a dozen or so people in the room judging you as well as whoever the coach is. But if it's, just a couple of people and, you're giving up half of your time in that hour, but you're getting more than you would have got, which would have been nothing if you didn't do it.
There's also too auditing, see if you can audit,
Yeah.
you know, a
Yeah.
class. You learn a lot, from online workouts. I mean, there are tons of coaches who have little weekly workouts, and even some of the voiceover actors.
Yeah.
If you can audit in one of them, that would be helpful
And
too.
when I do classes online, I offer what I call a discount to the flies on the wall. They don't get to participate in terms of reading copy, but they get to hear and see it all.
Hmm.
And I find
And
people really appreciate that.
very beneficial, very, very beneficial.
All right. Oh, this will be a quickie. Christopher Lewis, that's us. Some of the best actors you never see.
I missed that one, Chris.
I kind of missed what that was saying. I might have missed something.
I'm having a
Here's one. Trakina White. Hey, wait, I'm going to read this the way it's written.
Oh God.
Hey, Everett. How does one get in touch with you for coaching? Because you are the truth, honey.
Oh, Trakina knows. She is my cell number. You can reach me at eo@voiceactingdirector.com, all one word, or
EO for Everett Oliver.
Oliver at voiceactingdirector.com.
Okay. Because I have a feeling you're going to steal some students from me.
I would never steal any students from anybody. That's not my. That's
Oh,
not.
my good friend and talent, Chris Anthony.
Oh
Hey,
Lord. She's one of my student, one of my clients from ABL.
she's just so talented. Hey, Ev. Everett was my booth director at AVO for years. I had a hard time not laughing and having fun with him. But don't kid yourself. He is tough and he knows his stuff. Oh, she made a rhyme. He's so good I almost left the booth. Whoops. I left it up there too long. One more time. He's so good, I always left that booth with the best auditions. Love you, Ev.
Love you too, Chris.
And
Yeah, you have to be on your game, especially when you're doing auditions. I mean, I try to use my humor and personality and my sarcasm to relax you. In order when you're not, because here's the deal: when you're doing auditions, everyone is tense. Oh, I gotta pay my health insurance. Oh, I gotta, rent's due. Blah blah blah, blah, this and that. But if you go into an audition relaxed, the best time when you go into an audition is when you are sick as a dog, because you will not think of anything. There were more people who have come into that booth at AVO who were sick that would book all the time. They said, I booked that. I said, you booked that? They were like, I was on death's door, wasn't I? You were pretty much sick. I sent a couple of people home. Go home. You do one take and get out. And they booked it.
wow.
They didn't care.
Wow. Well, that's
So it's
that sickness that's
one
going around now. Not only do you kill the audition, but you kill the booth director.
Or if you're pregnant, or if the women who are pregnant, a lot of people, one of my former clients, she told me, she said, I book a lot now. When she was pregnant, she's booked all the time. It was just like your mind is just on something else.
Is she pregnant all the time? How many kids does she have?
Just one. When she was pregnant.
Okay.
You see how that's it, right?
Moving on. John Eric Preston, so great to see you and hear you both. Thanks, Dave, for doing this and having Everett on as your guest. You are very welcome. I'm not sure I will be happy with this once this thing is over. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say your ratings are gonna go up, Dave.
Ratings? We don't have ratings on this thing.
I know, on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Gary Scales. Ooh, my favorite two people at the same time. Oh, wow. Good to know.
From Tennessee.
Yeah.
Gary's from Tennessee. See?
Yeah. Let's see. Hey, Dave. Been a long time. Glad you're doing this. Oh, you're very welcome, Philip. And Evan Richards. Hi, Dave and Everett. Should you keep up with I think you want your agent when you update your home studio, when you get a new mic, an interface, or soundboard? Interesting question. Should you keep up with your agent? Should you update your agent about
Yes.
things new in your home studio, new mic, interface, soundboard, that kind of thing.
Yes, drop them a little small short email. Do not be sending them a book report. They don't have that kind of time. There are
Yeah.
people who want to go ahead and tell you about their families and all this other stuff that's going in life. If you send them 2 or 3 sentences and then the subject matter say, update home studio, point A, B, and C, end scene. That's it.
End
So at
scene. I
least
like
they,
that. And
yes.
actually, since we've been on lockdown, uh, clients and agents have been asking, A, do you have a home studio? And B, what's in it? And they want to know mics, brand names. They want to know what your interfaces are. They want
Hmm.
to know what your booth is like. Oftentimes, for an audition or before they're going to have an audition, they want a sample
Sound quality.
of sound
Yeah.
quality of your booth.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely update.
Yeah.
You
And
want
just be short to the point. Get to the point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of agents, you want to stay in touch with them. You want to let them know, you know, what it is you want to do. They're not mind readers. They do know
Hmm.
we all want to work, but if there's a particular direction that you want to go in that they're not sending you those auditions, uh,
Hmm.
let them know. Hey, I want to do. I was just listening to Everett Oliver, and now I want to do animation. Uh, can you send me
Great.
some animation auditions?
And then they're going to say, have you coached with him?
And if they say no, they'll drop you from
They
the
say,
roster.
no, they're not going to drop you. You should, if you're going to do that, you should at least get some training. It's all about you getting training in whatever field. If you want to go ahead and do promos or anything, get the training first. So that way the agent knows that you've trained with this person, that person, this person. And don't just study with just one person. Study with at least 2 or 3 or 4 coaches. So that way you get a perspective from everybody and not just one.
Well, I find that most of us are teaching the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you that you do yourself a favor by working with a variety of coaches, if not just for the fact that some coaches specialize more in this genre as opposed to another. Uh, but sometimes what you're looking for is language from a coach that you understand, or
Yes.
feeling of connection
Mm-hmm.
with a coach. You're not going to connect with everybody. No
Right.
matter how good, how smart, what wonderful tips they have, sometimes something just gets in the way. So
Mm-hmm.
it pays to find your spot or
Mm-hmm.
spots.
Find your spots.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Walter Williams again from Dan Enda. As you are both people of color, that's POC. Uh,
That's Bills.
How do you
Yes.
how do you feel about non-POC voice talent voicing POC characters in animation? Now we just had a couple
Working.
of
Mhm.
famous characters being of people of color being voiced by people of not color. Um,
Yes, Dave.
just resign from their jobs in order to allow someone of color to perhaps get one of those parts. Let's just hope the writers don't write out the parts.
Right, right. It
uh,
just gives us opportunity.
yeah,
It's allowing us to get more opportunity
yeah.
for us to,
There,
and
there, there is the argument that actors will put forth that, hey, I'm supposed to be playing somebody I'm not. I'm a good actor. Why can't I play this black person, this Latin person, this Indian person, this Native American, whatever? Uh, and what I would say, theoretically, you should be able to. But we live in a real world, and this is not just art, it's also a business.
hmm
Um, People are making a living at this, and all too often, I have seen productions, video games in years past that you had a number of black characters in the video game, all played by non-black people, and when you approach the producers, well, we couldn't find anybody, which is just bogus. We'd like to see all our voice actors working. So although
From all different
from all
backgrounds.
different
So from
backgrounds.
backgrounds for sure, because they, you know, even the Asian community as well,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
and stuff like that. So
And there's we're in a huge change, I think,
mhm.
of consciousness in this country right now, if not around the world, judging by the protests that are going on, and Black Lives Matter. And
Mhm.
I'm just going to say it: Black Lives Matter because all lives matter.
Does matter.
But if you're that
Hmm.
person saying, when you hear Black Lives Matter, well, all lives matter, well, you don't want to get it. You don't want to understand. Good question. Let's see. Christopher, thanks, Mr. Everett. When he takes the time to do so, he roughs you up a bit, but he does it both constructively and with a lovely touch. It's educational and time well spent.
Who's that? Who's that? That was
Somebody,
a great.
clearly somebody you paid.
No, I don't. I don't even. I didn't hear the name. I don't
Christopher
even.
Lewis.
Christopher Lewis. Yes, I remember him.
Okay, because your other answer was, oh, I've trained so many.
No, I wasn't gonna say that, but I remember. Yes, I do remember Christopher Lewis.
Now,
Yes.
you know what?
I.
I've always found you to be a very good director. And those times when I put together a voiceover workout group, and you came as a guest director, and you wouldn't direct me. Damn it! I'm still pissed off
I
about that.
stopped it. I just remember my face. I was like, "What are you doing here? While am I not supposed to be here?" Oh.
But you gave such good direction to everybody that came in,
Mhm.
and you know,
I love it. I mean, like I said, I'm a a people person, and I love to. My fun, insane weirdness is to figure out how you tick. And so I want to say when my brain is in your head, I can totally pinpoint
hmm
how you're going to contemplate and make that move. And I can say, no, the character needs to go this way. I can totally hear you,
yeah,
So that's just that. And I can honestly say, and I was mentioning this to a family member, that's just a God given talent that was just given to me.
yeah.
So I, enjoy that. And watching your facial expression goes, how did you know that?
Yeah. By the way, this is from Brian Kelly, who had asked a question before, and I think this is for me. Oh no, he's for you. Quit complaining, E.
Not complaining, Brian Kelly. Just trying to remember who Brian Kelly is. I'm writing that name down. I'll send him an instant message.
Alex Wood points out there are lots of great acting workshops that have been filmed and put on YouTube for free. That is absolutely true. As a matter of fact, this will be on YouTube for free. And almost all of the Ask Dave Fennoy's anything are on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy.
We'll
Okay,
change that.
yeah.
We'll change
We'll
that
change.
in the new year. As Dave Fernandez manager, we'll change that.
Golda Rachel Perry lets us know that some acting schools, studios have scholarships. I didn't know that.
Okay, we didn't know. Okay,
Uh,
we'll get back to you on that.
we have Larry Davis. I wish I could be a fly on the wall. I think in this case you are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are being a fly on the wall. And I believe Larry was at WME that just
Oh,
folded its voiceover shop.
yes,
And
yes.
wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait a
I've
minute. Wait
got.
a minute. I got to get to this guy. Joe
Oh,
Cipriano.
oh, Mr. Joe, as I call him.
Dave, when I heard you mention something about people who are so talented, so far ahead of everyone else, my ears perked up and I blushed. Of course, because that's how Everett always refers to me.
Oh, Mr. Joe.
and
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, Joe, I am requesting you to be a guest on Ask Dave Fennoy anything at some time in the near future. Uh,
We'll contact your manager, Mr. Joe.
okay, and as we continue to have too much fun, Jen Henry,
Yes.
epic coaching combo and fun. Okay.
Hey, Jen. Hey, Jen. Good friend.
Gary Scales, I took classes with both of you, and y'all have helped me tremendously. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, Gary.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Before I take any more questions, I remember you
Oh,
used to have dreadlocks.
shit.
What happened?
So what happened was, um, I was attending a conference, and someone approached me, and someone basically said to me, quote unquote, "Hi, Dave, how are you?"
Black man with dreadlocks. and
And my response was, "I'm sorry, I'm not Dave. I'm Everett."
oh, and you did you turn and walk away?
No, I wasn't rude. I just was like, "Okay, I get it." And then I said to myself, "It's time.
Ah, oh.
Oh, it's time. It's time." That's one time too many. It's time.
Oh, not voiceover related, but Deb Sommerfeld here. She says, "Hey Dave, hey Everett,
Hey, Deb.
Canada Day here in Canada. So let us both wish Canadians a happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada.
And if Trump wins again, we may be moving up there. So
Yes.
get
Hopefully
ready."
the borders will be open. Or if
Uh,
they're not open.
oh, here's a good one. Gary Scales again. When two separate agencies send you the same audition, how do you handle it?
Find your mother, whoever's your mother agency, which means the agency that's closest to you, I would submit through them.
Okay. I agree with the caveat that sometimes if you get it a day before and your agency doesn't hit
It's
you that
slow.
day, it's
Mm-hmm.
slow.
Mm-hmm.
Go with that first one. That has happened to me
Right.
from time to time. Sometimes my agent has asked me to, well, if it happens, give us a call and find out if we've got it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but unfortunately, they don't send everything out to all agents at the same time.
Right.
And sometimes you're going to have, sometimes you will have sent it to not your mother agent, but
Mm-hmm.
your auntie agent, or your cousin agent, or your
Okay, now you make
your
it.
half brother agent.
Now you make it stuff up. We're trying to be serious.
Well, we can be serious and have a good
Your
time.
auntie, and your
Yeah.
cousin agent.
Taisha Frederick again. What tools do you consider essential for the home studio? The basics. It's a good question. Now, no, you're not Tim Tippett. You're not George Whittam, but
Or Uncle Roy. Or
or
Uncle
or
Roy.
Uncle Roy. But what would you
I don't
suggest?
have a home studio, which is interesting. So I work off of Zoom. But I mean, your essential obviously is to, your paddings and your Source Connect. Um,
You're talking off
your
the top of your head here now, aren't you?
Yeah, I really am. I mean, you
Well, I
make
tell
sure you
you
have a
what.
great
Let
internet connection.
Yeah. Let me
That's
take
the
this
most
one.
important thing. That's the most important thing is a great internet connection. Um,
Well,
Go ahead.
you definitely need that. I'm going to say that the most important thing actually is the environment in which you are recording. What is the room like in which you're recording? If your room is not treated, if your room has sound bounce, is not quiet, doesn't matter what kind of microphone, doesn't matter about anything else. So the first thing you need is a room that does not bounce sound. It could be a closet with clothes in it. It could be one of the vocal booths, whisper room, studio bricks. If you want to spend that kind of money, um, there are ways to take a room that is not perfect, set it up, say, in a corner, so that mic is facing out from the corner and you have dampening going into the corner, you're speaking into the corner. That will help tremendously. If you have a room that part of the room is treated and you have like shelves like I have back there that have all kinds of stuff on them, that keeps the sound from being able to bounce directly back and forth between hard surfaces. So that's the first thing. A decent condenser microphone. You can find decent mics from the $200 range to the several $1,000 range. You don't need the most expensive mic.
Right.
It does not add talent to you.
Mm-mm. No, not at all.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
and to record with, you have lots of options. Audacity is free. If you're a Mac person, Twisted Wave is inexpensive. Pro Tools has been the go-to for years.
Adobe Audition
I
is
was gonna, yeah,
great.
Adobe
Yeah.
Audition is great. You have lots of ways at various price points to record. Find the one that works for you. 90% of the time, I'm using Twisted Wave. I have Pro Tools. If I'm mixing some things, great. But Twisted Wave, if you're a Mac person, works wonderfully. Audacity is free. I don't use it because I want to be able to call up and cuss somebody out if it's not working. But
Okay, you do that.
and one of my recommendations now, if you're just getting started, one of the things you want is a good preamp and a good interface between the microphone and your computer. And I would recommend United Audio products. They're simple. You can save yourself money on buying after products like preamps or channel strips because they sell them as plugins. You buy an Apollo, UA Apollo, you're going to get a certain number of plugins, and it's so simple to use. And so many of us are not technicians. So you want to make it simple, but you want to make it nice and clean and easy.
Sound should be very clear. Very, very clear.
Neener, neener, neener. I got to answer that one alone.
Wow. I'll send you I'll PayPal you.
Okay. With the post-audition slates of equipment, is there a need to upgrade mics to a certain level, even if you have a decent sound? That's a good question. I would get the best mic I could afford without going overboard.
Too overboard, yeah.
Look at what professional studios are using. Although there are some very, very high-end mics, I've got a couple of them that I don't use that often. It's just because I like to collect them. Typically, what I'm using is a 416, which you can grab for about $1,000, or a TLM 103, which you can buy used for about $750. I have some other mics. I'm about to try the Sphere, but you don't have to spend a fortune.
Performance matters.
Yes.
I repeat, performance matters.
Yeah.
It's all about your performance.
Ultimately, and I think as a society, because there's been so much home video that, the camera work isn't that great, the audio isn't always that great. So as a society, we've gotten used to watching and listening to things that aren't perfect. And it's sometimes it just becomes a part of the ambiance of whatever it is. So a microphone that may not be the very best, but is adequate,
good enough,
absolutely, is good enough. All right, Michael Sesso.
Because at the end of the day, the client is really listening to you. The client really doesn't know and go, oh, they're using this microphone.
Yeah. Michael Sessoms, I have a Chinese sensei in my demo. I am not Chinese. Should I replace it? I say no.
No, leave it in.
Leave it in there. I don't think you've done anything wrong, and since I'm the one that got you to do it.
Oh, he was just double checking your.
No. It fits him.
Okay.
It fits
as long
him.
As it fits you.
Yeah.
Don't second guess Dave.
And I want you to read this one's from Elizabeth Holmes. It's just heart, 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 heart. Red heart, orange heart, yellow heart, green heart, blue heart.
I know Elizabeth Holmes, yes.
All right. Bryant, that was on the open book test comment.
He passed. He
said, sorry for the tough question. We get a yay. Cipriano says, LOL. Oh, hey, I'm in, Dave. All right, I'll be in touch later. We'll get a date on you, man.
Better write it down.
Elaine Clark, your comment made me LOL.
Your comment.
Was it
not
mine?
My comment?
Was it mine or was it yours? We may never know for sure.
Oh, I'll get a text.
John Eric Preston Dave, will you talk about a challenge you had with a video game character and how you overcame, corrected what the client wanted?
Ooh, that's a
Well,
good one.
well, actually, I've never had a problem with a video game. You know, I've had more problems with animation
Really?
than video games because of the funny.
Mm,
Earlier in my career, one of the things, and despite the fact that I've been in a lot of cartoons,
right.
still in some cartoons, I don't typically teach cartoons, and I think it's probably because of the problems I had early on. But one of the things that I started doing again. Remember when you were a kid and you copied the voices of your cartoon
Imitate.
characters and you made up other voices and you imitated your Aunt Rose and Grandpa Billy and my daddy's partner Roscoe. Oh, boy, what's going on with you? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and sometimes you get older, supposedly wiser and more serious, and you stop doing that because somebody told you you were being silly.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Drop them as a friend and be
Mm-hmm.
silly. One
Keep
of
your toolbox. You need to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
your
yeah.
toolbox with you. Yeah.
Uh,
List of characters.
so many people who are killing the game in animation didn't realize it, but they were practicing creating their characters uh, as they grew up, uh, getting sent to the principal's office for making funny noise. So I just let it happen now. And one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was create those characters, but not just the funny voices. Give them a history, give them a name, give them a worldview. Know who they are and be able to come back to them over and over. And what you'll find is if you have, say, 10 very different and interesting, funny characters. Those 10 characters can become thousands of characters by adding a little of this, taking out a little of that. Their pacing is a little different. Now this one has a little different accent. Would you concur?
I totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, like I said, put them on your cell phone, record them, put them on your cell phone, so that way you have a list and you build on them,
Yeah.
and keep building on them. You're on the plane, you see something funny, it might jog your memory. Something happens in the grocery store. You constantly build on them. So that's what I tell all my students all the time. Use your cell phone. Use the tools that you have. Elaine is sitting in me stuff. Elaine, stop it. I'm
and
focused.
and they're talking amongst themselves again. Thomas Machen is, hey Uncle Roy. How come everybody's saying hello to Uncle Roy? Uncle Roy, I'm going to get you on this show.
Joe the show.
Uh,
It's not paid.
Raven Janae Haynes. I have in front of the camera work as well as I've done some animation VO work. I really wanted to get a VO demo reel made to potentially get more VO work. Is it too early to do so? You know what? I can't answer that. Is it too early? Because I don't know what your VO chops are.
Right. Send it to me. Send me your demo and let's have a conversation. How's that?
That sounds good. My question also with that would be, what kind of demo are you looking for? There's video game demos, there's animation demos, there's commercial demos, there's a narration
Narration, promo,
promo. I'm
IVR. She'll put that in an email.
Yeah, there you go. Um, oh, Trakina, thank you so much for this platform. You help so many and are appreciated. Much appreciated, Trakina. One of the best things about the voiceover community is the give and take, the feeling of community and
Family
family.
oriented.
I
Hmm.
like to foster that, and it's a community that extends around the world. Oh, look, Walter Williams from Australia, Dan Enda. Have a great day in Canada, Deb. So, hey, wait a minute. You're not talking to us. You're talking
With the
to Deb.
Deb.
All that
What?
stuff about community, no. So many things link my life to Toronto lately with clients and sitcoms, etc. Love to visit your country one day. Oh, that's nice. They're talking to each other, but not us. Let's see. John Moody, is Everett doing Zoom classes? If so, does he do animation and video games or just one? Also, it is true that a lot of VO work is going to street mimes who are now hurting for work. Is it true that? So, I think that's a joke. Okay, last question was BS. Yes, it was. The whole street mimes, they don't say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, how?
Like in New York.
How much you can do trying to get out of that box? That's what I want to know.
Yes, I'm doing online classes in both animation and video games. I've been having a lot of guests on my online classes. I've had Dave, I've had Elaine, I've had Uncle Roy, I've had Andrea Torres, I had JB Blanc. So yes, I'm still doing it. Send me an email to my email address so I can put you on the mailing list.
And what is that email address?
EO at voiceactingdirector.com.
Wait a minute, 1 second here.
EO at voiceactingdirector.com. And in the subject matter, put Ask Dave Fennoy.
Okay, and we'll just add that. Oh, there it is. Amazing. You didn't know I could do that, did you?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You're pretty quick on your finger.
Let me make sure I got it. EO at voiceactingdirector.com. Oh, yeah. Well, my dot is wrong. It's because, but you get it.
They'll get it.
You get it.
Or EverettOliver.com. That's the other one. Everett Oliver. They'll find me.
Nathaniel J. Brown, I'm starting to love Logic Pro from what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Happy birthday.
Let's see. Talking about studios, and we're almost done here. This hour went by really fast. I converted my bedroom walk-in closet into my home studio. Now I thought that was a bargain basement, but then the COVID hit, and now needed quite a few of us VOs and every other NPR personality on the air are now apparently all in the closet.
That was a good one.
Yeah. And that used to mean something else.
Yes. And scene. Moving on.
I took private lessons with Lee Gilbert for 5 years, but I do plan to take VO classes again after COVID slows way down. What are advantages? Well, first of all, let me say that Lee Gilbert is the person that got me really started in voiceovers. I took a workshop from her in San Francisco in '89. And she said, wow, you're really talented. If you ever decide to come to LA, look us up at SBV. Wow. And a few months later, I was a morning jock on the radio station. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Sounds great, baby. A few months later, fired the whole staff. I redid my demo and came down, and the rest is history. So warm place in my heart for Lee Gilbert. But what's the advantages of taking classes?
Oh, networking, getting connected, learning from other students. It's a process. You never know who knows someone.
Yeah.
That's all I say. You never know.
Oh, and Thomas Machen, you will love the L22 Sphere. That was that microphone. Let's see, do we have anything else for you, for me? I'm pretty... Okay, let's see. Greg Beecham, I'm pretty new and I don't have an agent or manager. Are there any resources to help me understand the business contracts with streaming services?
He needs to have a consultation.
Yeah.
He needs to start off with a consultation.
Yeah, I think what you need... And I tell people this all the time. Find as much information free before you start paying money to people like us. Not that we don't like money. But two things. The more you seek online for free, and I think you probably have some things online for free. I definitely have some things online for free. I know many other voice coaches that have YouTube channels where there's a lot of free information. There's VO Buzz Weekly that you can go to. You'll learn the jargon. You'll learn some of the concepts. You will learn so much that you didn't realize you were learning, so that by the time you're spending your money, you're getting more bang for your buck. And now the other teachers are like, Dave, what are you doing to us?
I can see some of them, half of them are like, why did he say that? I don't know. It's his show. It ain't mine.
Say what the hell I want. Jessica Blue, Everett, where's your wine? Jessica Blue says, where's your wine? Raising a glass in your honor for you.
Thank you. I have no wine. I have to behave myself and drink
Uh,
town.
right, Deb Sommerfeld, we're getting down to the last of it. Real life is a part of character development, and borrowing from real life is so important, and I love it. Thomas again. Okay, you guys are already world famous and loved. Aw. And can get by. That should have been BY instead of BU by BUY. With auditioning over your cell phones for all the agents' clients are, from what I'm hearing. But is that a good idea for us guys? Well, you know what? I don't audition from my car with my cell phone unless it's an emergency. If I would, if it's not due in the next 5 minutes and I'm in my car, I'm going home to my studio. I have done it. I have booked some jobs that way. But also in my slate, then I'm like, hey, it's Dave Fennoy, and it's my iPhone in my car. Sorry for the quality. Boom, and go. Probably I shouldn't, but I just want them to know that's just not what my studio sounds like. And especially now, since one of the requests is that you have a decent studio and Source Connect or Connection Open or some way, or ISDN or IPDiddle, some way to connect. All right. I think we've gone overtime. See what you did to me?
I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know the ending. I didn't know if you had a.
No, I usually just go an hour. Sometimes it's less, depending on, it's a holiday or something. But listen, Everett, you are one of my favorite people. I have so much respect for you as a coach and teacher and animation demo producer, and I appreciate you, brother, coming on with me to share your insanity and your wisdom.
See, I'm not insane as much as you think I am. Say it with a smile. I'm not insane as you think I am. And we're done.
All right, and we're done. Okay, fine. I'll talk to you later. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for checking us out. Thank you, Everett Oliver. And we're saying goodbye now. I'm hitting the finishing button. If you have any last things you want to say, you can reach Everett at EO at voiceactingdirector.com. And there we go. Bye.
And we're done.